This little guy is Miles, who we are going to sign up in our puppy socialization class. He is a very smart little Goldendoodle. He's not going to be little for long, though. This is the roadmap to success for Miles. So he shows above average intelligence. One of the things we did, we taught him how to sit, to lay down, which the word here is going to be fall. We also taught him a sit up command, which means to go into a sit from a laying down position. And then when the other last move we didn't really go over, when I have a treat, to get him into what I call a stand, I would go like this. Stand. And then I release the treat into his mouth and say the word stand. Now I can sit. This is passive training. One of the things we want to do is every time that Miles does something we want, what I call a desired behavior, we're going to pet him and say just the word. We're not going to say good dog or Miles. We're just going to say sit, or in this case, up. Now, there we go. That was something we didn't go over. Sit. So if you put it to his nose and you're starting to go down and he gets up out of this sitting position, my way of saying no is bending my elbow away, right away. And then I put it back into sit, and then we'll see if we can get a fall this way. Put another treat. Always try to keep the treat within about an inch of his nose. Fall. And as soon as his chest is on the ground, we're going to release the treat in his mouth and say the command word. Anytime we use a treat, we want to say the command word the same second the treat touches his lips. Anytime that he does a desired action or behavior for passive training, we're going to pet him and we're going to say whatever he's doing. He comes to us, we're going to pet him and say here, just like what I just got done talking about. We'd also I'd like to see the family practicing what I call petting with a purpose. Ah! We'll talk about petting with a purpose in a minute. So every time that his teeth touch you, you should make a yelp like that. That didn't hurt. But you see how he freezes? Now this is I want to play. And so I don't want to pet him when he's jumping up on me, because remember, anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're reinforcing. So right there, fall. So that's what gets the attention, not the jumping up. I know. I'll tell them that next. All right. So let me see. So for the mouthing and nipping, anytime that his teeth touch you, even if it was accidental, we're going to yelp like I just did. And we're gonna pull our hands back and cross our fingers, cross them across our chest, and wait for him to settle down. Wait about about 15 seconds or so. Then we can go back to playing with him again. The other thing we would do is carry one of the either a rawhide, not a rawhide, a antler or a nylabone, and we're gonna have one in our pocket at all times. So if he is mouthing us, well, first of all, if he's mouthing and nipping at us, we're gonna consider how long has it been since he's had a nap. Puppies, when they get cranky, often get mouthy or nippy. So if he was kept on chewing on me and the yelping doesn't work, then I would pull out the bone and I would kind of tap him here, tap him here, tap him here, tap him here. And I want to kind of tease him with it until I let him latch onto it, and I'm going to let him pull it away so he feels like he won. So those are the tips for mouthing and nipping. And for all the tips for him, if you go to my, you're probably going to be watching this either on YouTube or on doggoneproblems.com. If you go to doggoneproblems.com, at the top right, you'll see a section that's called Quest Ed. That's where I include all these puppy videos to teach your dog for potty training, mouthing, nipping, leash training, to make sure he's not afraid of fireworks or thunderstorms or any of these things. So if you have questions or you're watching at home and you haven't hired me, you can always go to Doggone Problems and click on the Quest Ed section. There's probably a video that'll help you with your puppy. Remember, anything your puppy is doing when you pet it is what we're rewarding and reinforcing. So if he jumps up on me and I pet him, that's teaching him the way to get attention from someone is to jump up on them. So when he jumps up on you, instead of pushing him down, pretend like you have a treat, hold your hand out like this, and kind of keep your fingers slightly cupped, and kind of put it off to the side, and then pull him away from you, not pulling him, but luring him away. And then we raise it up to put him into a sit. As soon as he sits, we reach down, pet him under his chin, and we say the word sit. We always want to try to redirect a dog rather than correcting them or punishing them. If the dog is not paying attention, one of the things we worked on was teaching the dog to come. So we call it here. So if I say here and he doesn't pay attention to me, I want to make a kissing sound like this. As soon as he looks at me, well, before I even call him, I'm going to have my hand like this. So I'm going to hold like this. I'm going to say Miles, or I'm just going to say come. Oh, sit. Good job, buddy. You're making me look good. So I say here. If he doesn't come, then I go like this. Watch this. Puppy, puppy, puppy. The lower you go, the more it's for the dog. Come on, buddy. You can do it. It's like, I've had all the treats that I can eat probably. There we go. So the scent is important. So notice how I keep on coming back to him when he stops. There we go. Here. So I'm going to hold my hand up like this and say here first. If he doesn't come, then I'm going to make a kissing sound to get him to look at me. And when he does, then I'm going to start lowering my hand. And you see it right there. It made it more appealing for him. Fall. So I'd like the family to practice about twice a day at least, or more. More is better. But in short, like 1 to 2 minute training sessions for all training. Puppies, their neurons will get tired. So if you're working with your puppy and he's doing well and then he suddenly stops working, his neurons have probably gotten so tired they can't fire anymore. So that's a good time to make sure next time you get a good one, we end it. So what I'd like to do for the hear, or the recall exercise, we'd like to call it, is have everybody sitting on the floor, and everybody has about 5 or 6 treats, and we're all going to take turns. Now, I would have mom or dad or one person in charge, and that person gets to point at who calls the dog next. That person says here. If the dog doesn't come right away, then we say, and as soon as then we lower our hand, and we get him to come over like he did right there. We raise it up to put him in SIT, and then we pet him and say the word here. Now, if he doesn't come, we don't want to say here, here, here. That's why we make the kissing sound. Now, if he's here and somebody else is calling him and he's just looking at me saying, hey, sucker, I know you got some more treats. Fork him over. I'm going to go like this and look up. And I'm going to remain still and uninteresting. Then that person would make the kiss and start lowering his hand as soon as the dog looks. And then Miles would go over there and he would get a reward for that. We're going to do this at first just on the carpet here in the living room. Then eventually we're going to start having people further and further away so that he has to come and go beyond his line of sight to find the people. I'd also like the guardians to come up with a naughty dog name. So we're not going to use his name of Miles when he does the wrong thing. We're going to say Rufus or Obadiah or whatever words you want. And that we only use that when he's doing something we don't want. And if eventually we say Obadiah and he kind of shuts down, then we throw Obadiah away and we start calling him Boba Fett or whatever word is that we want to use. We're going to use positive reinforcement to teach him to go to the dog bed. And we're going to come up with our own unique word for the dog bed. Same thing for the kennel. So to do that, we're just going to toss a treat in the kennel. We're going to let him see it, maybe touch his nose first. If he's not watching, then toss it in the kennel. When he goes in the kennel, as soon as he touches it, we're going to say the word base, which is going to be his word. Now, at first we do that to entice him to go there. After a while, we're going to do it to reward. If he goes in there on his own, we're going to go over and give him a treat and say base. Or if we don't have a treat, we're going to go over there and pet him and say the word base. And anytime we get a new toy, he should discover them in the base or on the puppy play bed. Now, I would recommend that the guardians go to the Green Spot, which is my favorite pet store in Omaha. Pick up some bully sticks. Pick up some chicken's feet, some tracheas. They have cow's ears. I don't like using raw hides because they're washed in ammonia and bleach and a lot of other chemicals. You can get a pig snout. They slice them like pepperoni. And so getting those that are difficult, that are hard for him to chew on, or things that he can chew on but also ingest, are great. Same thing with carrots. We want to start out with shredded carrots. We're going to sprinkle those in his food, just a couple at first, and then we're going to put more and more until we have a small handful. And then we're going to get him to graduate into baby carrots, and then real carrots. When he starts teething, when he starts licking something that he shouldn't be licking, we're going to go ahead and go get a carrot out of the freezer, rinse the hard frost over, and if the dog is facing this direction, chewing on something, we're going to tap him on the butt. And then when he turns around, we're going to put it on the floor. He's going to turn around and start chewing on the carrot, and he will forget about what he was chewing on. Another thing I'd like to get at the Green Spot is I'd like the guardians to get 1-inch marrow bones or half-inch marrow bones, either one. They're frozen, and this is a very, very appealing thing for a dog to have. What I'd like you to do is hold on to the marrow bone. Don't give it to him. Hold on to it. Let him chew on it and lick on it. And while he's doing that, we're going to pet him. And at first we're going to start in his midsection. Doesn't have to be underneath. It could be back as well. Eventually we're going to get up to the point where he's chewing on it. We're petting him here. Now at first he might growl a little bit when you get to here. It doesn't mean he's aggressive. It should just mean he's trying to ward you off to don't take my bone. This is why we hold on to it, so it's our bone, not his bone. And I'd like to, and then after he's done that for a while, hold the treat up to his nose. When he drops the bone, or opens his mouth and it comes out, say the word drop, and then pop the treat in his mouth. That's something we didn't go over, but it'd probably be a good habit to get into. When he's chewing one of his toys, these are what we call low-value items. So when he has something he's allowed to have, every once in a while walk over to him, hold a high-value treat up to his nose, and don't tell him to do anything. Just wait there, silently. As soon as he drops the bone or the toy, pop it in his mouth and say drop and walk away. So what we're teaching him is when I have something, if the human comes up and asks me to drop it, I get a reward, and then I get my object again. Later on in life, he might steal a sneaker or something he's not allowed to have, and if we are very casual about it and just go up and say drop, he's practiced it for low-value items. He's easy. He'll happily give you up the high-value item. So these are basically what I like to call some of the tricks of the trade, the roadmap to success for Miles. Socializing him as much. Oh, one last thing. Take him to Lowe's or Home Depot. have a handful of treats, and if people want to pet him, say, one up them. Say, well, would you like to give him a treat? I would love to give him a treat. I would then, as Miles' guardian, use my hand motion. So if his head is here, put my nose treat with my hands curled, my fingers curled just a little bit, over his head, put him in a sit, lower it, let him lick it off my hand, tickle him under his chin, make sure you tickle him under his chin, and say the word sit. And then I would hand a treat to the person over there. Then that person holds their hand flat like this. When Miles comes over, they lower it, and they'll do the same thing you did. And then you're going to pet, they're going to give him the treat. Now, most people will, some people will like, the dog sits there like, oh, look, he's sitting. What, how cute. Look at him, he's sitting. That will teach a dog to jump up to try to get the treat. So if they do that, say, oh, if you could please, or when you give them the treat, or if they're delaying, oh, please give them the treat right away. We don't want him to jump up. Now, if they say, oh, what a good dog, you said, we would just say sit for them, because they don't necessarily know what we're talking about with just using the command word for passive training. So we might have to help them out by doing that. Like I said, any other questions that the guardians have, I want them to text or call me directly, but you can always go to QuestEd, just doggoneproblems.com/quest-ed, and there's a whole bunch of puppy tutorials that'll help you make sure that you raise your puppy right. So that's going to be it for this one. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.